Hello there. They call me Mystery. Now, everyone today agrees that equality is important to some extent, but no one can actually agree on what equality is. Is it equality of opportunity, equality of condition, equality before the law? Does it mean that all people should be the same, or does it measure whether people are actually the same? Now, the problem with the debate on equality is that it's really confusing, and I think deliberately. But more importantly, it's a conversation that's limited by our current perception of how the world works. The equality debate analyzes a troubled social system and fails to imagine a world without it. And so, should the question really be about equality or something much more fundamental? Freedom. Natural equality, if we can use this term, comes from religion, or our spiritual world, where all people are equally powerless in the face of the gods, or Mother Earth. So, there is an understanding that all humans are the same compared to some mystical force beyond our comprehension. The modern equivalent of this being the idea that all people are born equal, or all are equal under the law. Now, this modern version measures human against human. And if we all care so much about individuality, as much as we pretend to, then how can we consider equality by comparing one person against another, when we're all unique individuals? This is the great paradox of modern political thought. Equality versus individuality, which is better? But equality is typically just a measure of the haves and have-nots in society, today being centered around material possessions that provide social power. Put simply, we're accumulating things, property, land, resources, gives one power over others. Equality becomes an obvious talking point to those concerned with its repercussions: greed, poverty, misery, injustice, war. Now, not that those things haven't existed in societies without power dynamics, but it's exacerbated terribly when one person can control another. And so before proceeding to a question of equality, we should explore the idea of power. There have been societies in human social evolution where people accumulate wealth, but that does not translate to power. What I mean is, some people can hoard great riches and material goods, but that doesn't allow them the power to order other people around. Typically today, if you have enough money, you can buy people, workers or contractors directly, or politicians indirectly, and get them to follow your instruction. Money in our society enables social power. And so, if power precludes equality, it stops people being equals, what we really should be considering is the idea of freedom. The freedom to treat yourself with as much importance as any other person despite their material wealth and status, and your ability to submit to another person only if it pleases you. Now that's starting to sound like a world where equality is a reality, not just a value. And so, equality really is tied to an individual's freedom. Liberty is not liberty if you can't act on it. Most people believe they are free because they live in a democracy, but the freedoms they have are on paper. Do they actually exist in reality? People living in free countries might have the right to travel wherever they like, on the provision though, they have money for transport and accommodation. People believe they are free from taking orders from masters and a slave to no one, but they spend most of their lives in a job being instructed by their boss, often against their will or better judgment. We have play freedoms and real social disparities. And so we should concern ourselves not with formal freedoms, those ostensible measures of equality, but actual ones. Like, who cares about your right to travel? Ask yourself, can you actually afford to do it? Or what's the point of being free if I have to spend most of my life at work to support my existence on Earth, earning just enough to feed, house, and clothe myself with the occasional holiday or luxury indulgence here or there? Am I free or just existing? And so equality is not the real starting point when considering the quality of our societies and individual existence, because people get lost in discussions of individuality and loss of identity and the horrors of conformity. And with the current system, these concerns might be justified. But when we strive for equality, what is really being sought is freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to do. Individual freedom answers both the positives and the negatives of the equality debate. First, we should consider if people are truly free before we consider if we are truly equal. That'll revolutionize the way we think about society, guaranteed. If you thought that was interesting, give it a like, leave a comment, and share it with someone who should hear this. And subscribe for more. There is much to learn before we can unlock the revolution. Remember, I am, you are, we are a mystery.